Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to go ahead and start this meeting right now. And I'm sure the ground rules are clear. Please make sure that you're muted. And every one of us must be muted. I see someone that is not muted. Please ensure to mute. Okay. And right now, we're going to go ahead and introduce the a special guest of honor, and that's the person of Her Excellency, Dr. Amina Abubakar Bello. She's the First Lady of Niger State, Nigeria. And then we also have the guest of honor, the Emeritus Professor J.C. Azubuike. He was the past president, National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. And then we have the chairman of the occasion, Mr. Oluwemi Mimo Ogunde San, past Attorney General of Ogun State of Nigeria. Right now, I'm going to call on the author, Professor Hippolyte Amadi, to introduce the key speakers. Professor, you're muted.
He's not muted. We can hear him.
Yeah, I'm not muted. Yeah. Okay, great. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. And I want to welcome all of you here, and I want to use this opportunity to quickly go through all the people, the special speakers in this meeting. I have Professor Mustapha Bello is the president of the Nigerian Society of Neonatal Medicine. We'll be hearing from him. We'll be hearing from Professor S. Kuranga, the former chairman of the Committee of Chief Medical Directors and Medical Directors of Nigeria. We'll also hear from Dr. Peter Alabi, who was also a former chairman of the Committee of CMDs and MDs of Nigeria. We will hear from Dr. U.S. Etawo, the former Chief Medical Director of University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital. We will hear from Professor Akin Oshibogo, who is the past CMD of Lagos University Teaching Hospital and the current Vice President of National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. We will also hear from Dr. Olatunde Alabi, the current MD of Federal Medical Center, Lokoja. We will hear from Professor O.M. Kolu, the former Chairman Medical Advisory Council of the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital. Dr. A.U. Mba, the former Chief Medical Director of University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, will also have the floor at some time. And Dr. Mohammed Bello Kawuwa, the former MD of Federal Medical Center Nguru and the immediate past Commissioner for Health in Yobe State, will also speak at some time. We will also have Professor A.U. Awuzie, the former Vice Chancellor of Imo State University. Now, each and every one of our speakers have got a very important message for Nigeria, because in one way or the other, they are connected, very powerfully connected with the things that we are discussing today, or the reason that we've been brought together today. And each one of them, you just can't hold back their passion, probably because of what they faced during the time. But I must emphasize that it may not really be easy for every one of them to have a full floor to say it the way it is in their heart. Some of them will only have the opportunity to say, hello, get on with it, we will get there. But one thing I want to assure you and assure Nigerians is that each and every one of these people have sent in powerful message for Nigeria. And the moment the meeting is over, you can listen to them fully on our website. So we may deny them the time or the time they require to speak here, but their messages, their full messages for Nigeria will be live on our website. Please do find out time to go and listen to them properly and advise others to also go and listen to them. So with that said, I want to thank everyone for being here, and we will have to get on with me now inviting the chairman to the chairman to take the floor.
Warm welcome to you all on this occasion of the book presentation of the book Born to Live, Not to Die, written by my friend and brother, Professor Hippolyte Amadi. I am indeed honored and privileged to be in the midst of very eminent medical personnel, both academics and practitioners in Nigeria. The book, Born to Live, Not to Die, chronicles the efforts and struggles of Professor Amadi in the past 25 years to help in finding lasting solutions to the problem of neonate mortality in Nigeria and the world. And the efforts of Professor Amadi have now been chronicled, put in a book that can be used as a new weapon in finding that solution. The book concerns all. I do not think it concerns the medical personnel alone. It concerns the mothers of unborn babies, concerns the young parents. It concerns everyone, because all of us are members of families, and the loss of a prospective member of that family in the form of an unborn baby is always something of a tragedy and great sorrow. I therefore believe that the opportunity of today is to again give us a chance of increasing the army of those who will help to fight this problem. It is now time, using the book that Professor Amadi has written, to enlist the support of our legislature, our judiciary, our politicians, everyone, every member of the society called Nigeria, to get involved in this fight and help to bring this problem to an end. I therefore hope that the presentation of today will help us to achieve that. And it is on this note that I welcome all of you to this important occasion and wish you a fruitful and happy deliberation. God bless.
I am Professor Mustafa Bello, Professor of Neonatology and current President of the Nigerian Society of Neonatal Medicine. I work at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, Maiduguri, Borno State in Northeast Nigeria as a consultant neonatologist. The neonatal mortality rate remains high at 40, 30, and 39 per 1,000 live births for the years 2008, 2013, and 2018, as reported by the NDHS. Major contributors to this high neonatal mortality rate includes inadequate manpower and equipments, which are either not available or maintenance is the challenge, which is an area Professor Hippolyte made a lot of impact on during his works in our various neonatal units, working on refurbishing incubators that has not been functional, and also helped in creating respiratory support through the Polite Heart CPAP machine. In various parts of the country, before he started, several equipments are faulty and unserviceable, making our units graveyards of these equipments. The various experiences of Professor Hippolyte, as expressed in this book, Born to Live and Not to Die, are real and daily occurrence in our SCBUs. But with Prof's effort, major changes are observed. We certainly need more of Prof's involvement in our units with better outcome of our neonates. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Olatunde Oladeji Alabi. I'm the Medical Director of Federal Medical Center, Lokoja. I'm pleased to talk on this special occasion of the launching of the book written by Professor Hippolyte Amadi, Professor of Bioengineering in Imperial College, University London. He's been very helpful to my hospital and indeed many hospitals in Nigeria. I knew him since 2012, then as head of clinical services. He came to us, he was introduced to our hospital, and ever since he's been helping to maintain our incubators in the hospital. Federal Medical Center in Lokoja is serving a population of about 4 million people, and you know what that means? It means the incubators have to be up and doing. My center has few incubators, 10, but they are very, very functional and effective. And it's been due to the work that Professor Ippola does. Twice a year, he comes to Federal Medical Center in Lokoja and indeed many other hospitals in Nigeria to do this good job. Just as I've said, it's small, but highly effective. And I'm very sure it's one of the best in Nigeria. It has also helped in training of resident doctors. Indeed, now, my hospital has accreditation in both the National and West African Postgraduate Medical College in pediatrics and O&G, full accreditation. This is for the first time ever in the history of the hospital. And we intend to maintain that. I understand is winding up his activity in Nigeria, but I plead with him, whatever I can do, because he's doing a very good job, whatever I can do to make sure that this continues, so that the poor masses indeed can gain from this, and indeed neonates and unborn children can have access to the good work which he has been doing in Africa. Thank you very much.
I'm Dr. U.S. Etawo, former Chief Medical Director, University of Port Teaching Hospital. In 1997, when almost all our incubators were, to us, unserviceable and locked up in our maintenance store, we contacted the then Dr. Ippola Chamade, a skillful, hardworking biomedical engineer. He came and revived 7 of them. The then Chief Medical Director, late Dr. E.B.O. Mangete, my humble self, then Chairman Medical Advisory Committee, the head of Pediatrics, Professor Nte, and Professor Ramabo, the neonatologist in charge of our special care baby unit, were all excited. And we quickly entered into agreement of continuous maintenance with him. On his advice, we even bought more incubators. At the time, we had more incubators than any hospital in Nigeria. The collaboration continued even when he went to UK, and I became the Chief Medical Director. He came periodically to service the incubators. Our neonatal mortality declined drastically. Professor Madi crisscrossed Nigeria, spreading his magic to many hospitals. Consequently, the neonatal mortality in Nigeria reduced. It became a big factor in neonatal survival, and it was a glorious period. The book reminds us of that glorious period. It is a clarion call on those in Helm of Affairs now to do the same in other problem areas in our health system. Neonatal mortality is a tip of the iceberg. At our time, we did our best. The fight should be sustained with more vigor. Our health indices are still woeful. Once again, congratulations, Dr. Madi, for putting that leap of achievement on record for posterity.
I'm Dr. Gian Joshua, former Medical Director of Federal Medical Center, KEFI. First met Professor Hippolyte sometime in 2013 during a conference. And it was difficult not to notice the fashion packaging humility in his presentation. I know that this is a very scarce commodity in our society today. As soon as I established contact with him and invited him to FMC KEFI to help solve our perennial problems in our special care baby unit. Having worked with him and also learned of his adventures in other tertiary hospitals in Nigeria, I can't but applaud his dogged determination, his charisma, and his selflessness. Definitely has become a rallying point in the Herculean task of saving the lives of neonates in Nigeria and beyond. I'm excited to see the documentation of his adventures to this book titled Born to Live and Not to Die. And I believe to go a long way in making the gains of Istanbul is sustainable. I use this opportunity to congratulate Professor Hippolyte on this fine achievement. We are very proud of you, Prof. Again, congratulations.
Well, good day to everyone. I am Olubenga Mokuolu, a professor of neonatology at the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital in Nigeria. I'm also a past chairman medical advisory committee of the teaching hospital, and for many years I've headed the neonatal intensive care unit. Now, being drawn to Professor Hippolyte Amadi was a natural phenomenon following our chance meeting at a conference of the Pediatric Association of Nigeria. I was coming from the backdrop of a believer in the deployment of appropriate technology in the care of the newborn, and we have pragmatic algorithms to fabricated radiant warmers and phototherapy units. So meeting Professor Amadi became love at first sight, as I have a soulmate in someone who shared the same ideas. I needed no convincing, and when we reconnected a few years later, we then had to advance the process of digitally recycled incubation technique for my unit. With the support of my chief medical director, Professor Suleiman Kuranga, some 5 incubators were fixed in my unit. Next was making a set of apnea monitors. We also made pulse oximeters, and subsequently Hippolyte developed for us the Polite CPAP machine. For many years, these incubators were the only ones in the unit. They worked with very minimal servicing needs for more than 15 years, and Hippolyte technologies generally have contributed to a remarkable drop in our neonatal mortality in the unit. Though he came providing a consultancy services, we soon struck a bond of relationship that went beyond the remit of client and service provider. We became partners and looked into many issues together that plagued the newborn. My general final remark will be that I want to appeal to Professor Amadi that this book should not be his resignation letter in the fight for the newborn. Let it not be your final testament of a failed system. This book has helped to appreciate the trajectory of Professor Amadi much better. If I had my way, I will call on the government of Nigeria to sign a 10-year technological transformation pact with Professor Amadi, put him as the Director General of an Institute of Medical Technology with the sole mandate of manufacturing life-saving medical devices that have ISO standards and training people to acquire capacity to do the same. I congratulate you on the launch of this book, and I pray that we all will remain partners in saving the lives of our newborn babies. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Prof. I read the book, Born to Live, Not to Die, and came out with this impression that I had just read a legacy book. 100 years from now, if and when this giant wakes up, those who are wondering why he slept for far too long will find the answers in the pages of Born to Live, Not to Die. I dare say that this book will resonate with a lot of Nigerian patrons and researchers in particular, because it tells the story of the challenges they face in efforts to uplift the society. I will recommend that for this book to achieve its strategic aims and objectives, that there needs to be some level of collaboration with non-governmental organizations that are working in the area of health and neonates in particular, to pass bills at the National Assembly so that this matter will be properly addressed. And also to ensure that the NGOs push the information out to relevant stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Women in diaspora. Can we join Dr. Hippolyte Amadi to make sure that every baby born in Nigeria is born to live and not to die. There are several organizations in US, World Igbo Congress, Asa Women National, and every individual local government, cities, towns have their own groups. Can we take it upon us to raise the awareness of all the number of babies that are dying in Nigeria due to complications that does not exist anymore in a civilized country? Our government has refused to do something, but there's someone, Professor Hippolyte Amadi, we called him Polite. I met him in my first year as a mechanical engineering student at Anambra State University of Technology. He was a very smart student. When I reconnected with him again, I saw his passion about babies and the number of babies that are dying in his own country. He made a difference in the world, but he wants to take that difference to his country. Can we help him make that dream a reality in our own country, Nigeria? We can do as little as putting equipment that are very efficient and inexpensive in all hospitals. This can be done by collectively by the women in United States. We can raise awareness, make sure that every group you belong to know about what is happening to babies. We are mothers, carry pregnancy for 9 months, only to give birth. You hear your baby cry, and after a while the baby is gone. It's too painful. When we can do something to stop this, we can each get a book, send it to the people, the organizations that we belong to. Make sure that when we go to our medical missions, that we look into the neonatal fertility in Nigeria. The solution is there. We just need help to make Professor Hippolyte's dream a reality. He knows what to do. We are just here to back him. Let's do this.
This is Dr. Ikunna Ezato. The way to compel the legislative assemblies to create laws to protect neonatal life is by showing them the numbers. The audit on the improvement that has been made on the neonatal mortality rates before Professor Hippolyte Amadi began his work and after Professor Hippolyte Amadi began his work should be presented to the lawmakers. These neonatal incubator units, coupled with the trainings that the doctors and nurses in the hospitals have received from Professor Hippolyte Amadi, should be presented to these members of the legislative assemblies. The doctors and the nurses who have benefited from the training and a change in their management plan based on using Professor Hippolyte Amadi's neonatal incubator units should also be called upon to give their contribution of how learning from Professor Hippolyte Amadi has impacted and improved the neonatal mortality rates in Nigeria. I believe if they can appreciate the improvement that has been brought on as a result of Professor Hippolyte Amadi's work, it will make it easier for them to appreciate what needs to be done. They also need to be reminded that the neonates of today form the pillars of society for tomorrow. As for funding, it is of utmost importance that the health ministers and health commissioners of all the states come together and form an understanding of the importance of allocation of funds for infant mortality rate reduction. It is a mammoth task, and governmental bodies urgently need to be made aware of this huge need. As for the other funding, NGOs that are interested in neonates can also be made aware of the need for their input into reducing neonatal mortality in any way that they can. Creating awareness among young people will be greatly improved if Professor Hippolyte Amadi's book can be added to the essential reading list of every undergraduate at the universities of Nigeria. Social media influencers, TV awareness programs, and radio and newspaper outlets are all ways of creating awareness for this. It is so important, and indeed, there is a need for the future of the giant of Africa's neonates to be greatly improved by improved awareness. Thank you for the opportunity and for your priceless contribution to mankind.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, born to live, not to die. My name is Bernard Anyao. After reading this book, I asked myself, how many neonatals who could have become another great Dr. Hippolyte, or even surpass him in knowledge and in invention, who did not see the light of the day because of our action. Some of these actions are due to ignorance, but most of them are because of greediness of those in authority. I believe if this book had been written for the past 20 years, Dr. Hippolyte Amadi was battling to save neonatals. Maybe we could have done things differently and save lives. Having said this, I recommend this book to all our CFDs and their staffs in our tertiary hospitals. Also, I recommend this book to all our government officials and lawmakers. To those who value our neonatals should also pick a copy of this book. And we all read this book, especially those directly involved in healthcare. Maybe, I say maybe, we will do things differently in a positive way that will benefit our neonatals. Thank you.
My name is Engineer Ike Azoka. I reside in London, UK, and I've known the author for the past 3 decades and counting. I read Professor Amadi's book, aptly titled Born to Live, Not to Die, cover to cover. It was a very interesting read, forthright and brutally honest. I then thought to myself, this could equally have been titled The Right to Live, Not to Die, because the right to life is a fundamental right of every living person, and this must include neonates too. But unfortunately in Nigeria, this is not so. So where do we go from here? That's the big question. In my opinion, Nigerian legislation should sponsor a bill that institutes penalties, massive fines and/or jail time for hospitals, clinics, healthcare centers, and/or healthcare practitioners who don't provide certain medical care, which results in a newborn child, a neonate, dying unnecessarily. Such a bill could be named the Right to Live, but I'm sure at the appropriate time we'll come up with a name. The point is, we cannot continue to turn a blind eye to the lack or non-provision of incubators, respirators, to mention just a few. Equipment which must be functional and fit for purpose, with personnel that have the adequate training to operate them. We've had similar movements in Nigeria in the past, with the Not Too Young to Run for Office, Bring Back Our Girls, which were popular at the time. So this has to be a conscious decision on the part of all Nigerians, particularly our legislators and the state. We need to start holding our healthcare facilities and practitioners to account, because then and only then will it stop our Nigerian babies dying unnecessarily.
As I read through the book,
honestly, so many emotions came upon me, so many things as people like us unravel the issues he had gone through, trying to help me. And I wondered whether something needed to be done by the government. I don't know whether there will be friends, people who are friends and close to the people in the assembly or in the Senate, who can buy them copies, put it in their hands and give them some time to read it and really press upon them to be able to try and bring something up in the assembly. And secondly, while waiting for them to get their acts together, I think well-meaning Nigerians who have the means, who have the money, could be able to get together, because this young man, this man, well, young at that time he was doing this thing, but now, honestly, he has made a lot of this intervention. There are all manner of equipment to help these neonates. Can people, Nigerians, and even people outside Nigeria, can they, people who have the means, buy some of this equipment for some of these hospitals so that this mortality of the neonates can be minimized? It's very important, and I appeal to people to be able to try and do this. Thank you.
We have now come to an important juncture in this program, which is to have a summation of deliberations for the purpose of drawing up an action plan. I have grouped all the deliberations into three heads. The first is what I call accountability, the second is amelioration, and the third is advocacy. In the area of accountability, the time has come for us to develop a coordinated mechanism for the purpose of holding everyone accountable for neonate mortality. That can be by way of new legislations, it can be by way of drawing up new regulations, it can be by way of drawing up new disciplinary methods for the purpose of holding everyone accountable for needless neonate mortality in Nigeria. The second is amelioration. That is an area where we all have to drive up all our efforts, to gear up our efforts at getting sufficient generous donations to equip our hospitals and medical facilities to ensure that needless and unnecessary neonate mortality is avoided. The better equipped our medical personnel are, the better trained they are, I believe that the better will be their performance in preventing neonate mortality in Nigeria. The third is advocacy. This book has now given us an opportunity to be able to spread the news to the high, to the low, to the illiterate, to the educated, to everyone who must know of the need to ensure that neonate mortality is prevented in Nigeria. And in this regard also, there will be the need for us to see to it that the cost of production is brought down so that the book will be affordable to very many Nigerians in our hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to be able to read the book and enlist in this war against neonate mortality in Nigeria. I think if we are able to get these three done, it will help us a great deal. Thank you very much.
At this moment, we would like to give a 1 minute silence in respect of Nigerians, neonates who died from preventable causes in Nigeria. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll this moment call a few more comments from key speakers. And the first, would like to please ensure that everybody observe the time limits. And we have at least 1 minute, 1.5 minutes to speak. And at about 1.75 minutes, 1.75 minutes, will probably stop the speech and go to the next person. Please try to observe your time as you begin to speak. So I would like to also, ladies and gentlemen, invite Professor Akin Oshibogun to make his comments.
I'm Professor Akin Oshibogun, Chief Medical Director of Lagos University Teaching Hospital from 2006 to 2014. It gives me great pleasure indeed to give this testimonial in respect of Professor Hippolyte Amadi, who I met during the time that I was Chief Medical Director, and we collaborated on an incubator project to build the incubator capacity at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital from 0 to some 42. 50% of those 42 incubators were carcasses of incubators that Professor Amadi brought back to life, while the remaining numbers were from government budget, as well as from donations from well-spirited corporate citizens and individuals in the society. Professor Amadi was quite passionate about the project, and he was compassionate with the neonates, and he was quite interested in seeing how neonates in Nigeria will survive. I mean, I admire that passion and compassion, and he has now documented his experience not only at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, but at several tertiary health facilities across Nigeria. I believe that this documented experience can be beneficial to others who may be interested in neonatal survival. I recommend that we all read this book, so that we can gain from that experience. And I also recommend that beyond reading the book, that we all work together to ensure that neonates in Nigeria survive. Your contributions in your different ways and at different health facilities across Nigeria will ensure that these neonates survive. I thank you for your attention, and God bless.
Okay, and the next is Professor A.U. Awuzie.
Hello, thank you very much. The book being launched today was a great work by Professor Hippolytus. And I engaged him when I was Vice Chancellor of Imo State University as a professor of our university with honorary consultancy status in the College of the Teaching Hospital. And this book that been launched, from the way I've listened, we are simply talking about Nigeria, but I think it is what affects all neonates worldwide, particularly in less economically developed countries, where these children are dying at a very fast rate. The feat done by Professor Hippolytus is a breakthrough that has to be funded, and we encourage governments and all institutions that have to deal with the health of neonates to get involved and help in ensuring that this book is marketed and used, particularly in our rural areas where we cannot afford the more advanced technology. But this is one that we can easily carry out in rural areas of our country and worldwide. So I congratulate Professor Hippolytus on this wonderful achievement and believe that governments and the reading public will key into this, read it, and understand what it is, and then practice it. And let us see how we can save the lives of these children. We need them. They are future leaders of our nations. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Okay, the next to speak is Dr. Emeka Onwe Oga. And I also want to, I expressed my appreciation for Professor Awuzie. I didn't know I was muted, but now I'd like to hear from Dr. Emeka Oga. Is it there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Professor Amadi for the good work he has done.
In fact, when I was doing my residency training, early 2000, he first came to our state teaching hospital and was able to reactivate our incubators there. Years after that, I met him in our committee of CNB meetings. I saw him and I said, "Are you not Professor Amadi?" He said, "He's the one." I said, "Oh, how can we start all over again?" Quickly, he came to our rescue. In fact, what I will have to say is this is not time to speak too much. I think there will be need for him to come down home to Nigeria so that we can reach the people at the National Assembly, so that this book can be presented, so that it can make meaning, our minister makers, so that it can be implemented, NGOs, because it has a lot. What he has done in my hospital, if I begin to narrate it here, there will be no time, especially the Firefly. Let me talk of that. Without Firefly, we had it 3 years ago. Since then, we have not had excess blood transfusion. And amazing is the cost of it. So, and this polite blend and other equipment he has tried to give to us at a very cheap rate, it has helped to reduce neonatal mortality. We have been able to manage babies 0.7, 0.8 kg, courtesy of this equipment. And the training my staff that we must have to drive down home. How do we make it to work? It is a collective effort. Everybody has to be involved. And I'm ready. Professor Hippolyte is my friend, and we are friends because of what he's doing. I'm a neonatologist as well. And I think I have to commend him for that. His brevity, his honesty, and his humility. And he also has passion for children to live. And I think we must all support him for these our babies to live. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Dr. Emeka Oga, thank you very much for that speech. We appreciate that. Would like to call on Dr. Peter Alabi also to make his comments.
My name is Dr. Peter Alabi. I'm a consultant neurologist. I was Chief Medical Director at the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital between 2008 and 2016. When I assumed office at the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, we had a lot of challenges at our special baby unit. We had 2 functional incubators at the special baby treatment unit. During one of the meetings of the Committee of CMDs, I was introduced to Hippolyte Amadi, a professor from England, and he collaborated with us and used our old and neglected incubators, refurbished them, and they became functional. Initially, about 8 of those old incubators were refurbished, were recycled, and were tropicalized to suit our environment. Incidentally, I became chairman of Committee of CMDs in the year 2013, 2014, up to 2015. And during that time, we had a deeper collaboration with Professor Hippolyte Amadi. I introduced him to other colleagues who bought into the technology that he brought. And through that, we were able to revive a lot of incubators at the various centers. My center benefited immensely to the extent that before I left, we had 16 to 18 functional incubators. Apart from that, we also were able to develop some power banks because of the frequent outages and irregular power supply. Through the collaboration, our nursery became one of the most functional special baby care units in northern Nigeria. And we were able to revive children even that were weighing below 1 kilogram weight. So I want to thank Professor Amadi for that collaboration, and I want to recommend him to other institutions that have similar challenges. His technology is quite cheap, it's tropicalized, and it suits our environment. Congratulations, Professor Amadi.
Moment. We'd like to call also Professor A.U. Mba. Professor Mba, you have the floor.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Professor Anthony Mba, a former Chief Medical Director of University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital at Itukwazala, Enugu. I wish to tell you that what is written in Born to Live, Not to Die is truly not a piece of fiction, but a reflection of the reality in our environment. During my period as Chief Medical Director, we witnessed deaths of several premature babies because we didn't have incubators which would nurse them to maturity. As a result, several of them died until Professor Hippolyte came into the scene and then revitalized all the incubators. And we now saw that things could work in our environment. So please, I am imploring everybody to read this book because it is just a reflection of what is in our environment. It's not just reading the book, but taking some action to improve things, either by playing some advocacy to the government or by financially supporting the movement. Thank you very much.
But I would like to call on Dr. Mohammed B. Kawuwa. Is Dr. Kawuwa here?
Can you hear me?
Now, yeah, we can hear now.
Okay. I'm Dr. Kawuwa. I was the Medical Director of Federal Medical Center Nguru between 2006 and 2014, and the Yobe State Commissioner for Health 2014 to 2019. As the Medical Director at the Federal Medical Center Nguru, my vision was to make sure that the catchment area and any other person who have reasons to come to our center is able to get the best quality of service. We thought that is the best way we can be able to contribute to the reduction of mortality and morbidity in our catchment area, contributing to the improvement of the health and well-being of Nigerians. As the Medical Director, one of the most challenge I had was improving morbidity and mortality among the neonates. It was Herculean because the right devices and the right training for the staff was technically difficult to come by. I'm meeting Professor Hippolyte Amadi in 2007 in Benin in the Committee of Chief Executive of Federal Tertiary Hospital meeting with a game changer for the neonatal services in FMC Nguru. The game changer for FMC Nguru. So we're able to work together with Professor Hippolyte through his biannual, we got the appropriate devices, the right training for our doctors, nurses, midwives, engineers, and other health professionals. And we're also able to improve comprehensively on our neonatal care. Well, in addition to improving the services we are able to render to the newborn, we are also able to conduct appropriate research geared at improving newborn health in Nigeria and Sub-Saharan Africa. On the other hand, as the Commissioner of Health of Yobe State, with the approval of the Governor, we embarked on a comprehensive package to ensure that we're able to improve our neonatal morbidity and mortality indices. We're able to invite Professor Hippolyte to come to Damaturu in Yobe State. We had a roundtable discussion with all the senior stakeholders and the drivers of the health sector. And we had robust discussion, and Dr. Hippolyte contributed very positively towards what is going to be rolled out as probably one of the best neonatal intervention services in Nigeria by God's grace. Professor Hippolyte's book is a true story of someone who had the passion, the brains, and the strength to pursue the war of changing newborn health in Nigeria and by extension in Africa. I think my conclusion is that Professor Hippolyte has seen the good the bad and the ugly as it pertains to tertiary healthcare administration in Nigeria, especially from the critical angle of rendering newborn or neonatal care services. I therefore wholeheartedly and with all sense of patriotism and passion for the survival of neonates recommend this book to all and sundry. And I think if our legislators and other policymakers, for them, it must be a must read. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Mohamed Kawuwa. We appreciate that comment. And quickly, would like to round up with Mr. Akwasi Adai Diawo. Please, if I pronounce your last name wrong, please forgive me. Mr. Akwasi.
Yes, that's fine.
Adai Diawo.
Yes.
You have the floor.
Yes, thank you. All protocols observed. I would like to say what an honor it is to be among the privileged few who have had the opportunity to read Professor Amadi's book. I think it reveals a lot about his passion and his determination to impact neonatal mortality rates in Nigeria and potentially across the continent of Africa. I must say that it has been personally a challenge to me to respond in the simplest way I can to neonatal concerns that are raised in the book in Africa, Nigeria, and also in Ghana, where I originally come from. The book is a timely book. It's an awareness campaign tool, as the Prof has described it. And I think he may have chosen the word so that it's ACT, so we should act on it. Indeed, I feel that it's a film, stuff for films, and I hope that somehow it can be escalated in such a way that we can have some of the shakers and the movers of Africa to bring it to the big screen. I hope that there will also be promotional events like Zoom meetings, social media arrangements, and we can appeal to individuals and corporate donors so that they can sponsor or subsidize subscriptions that people would like to make. Already, I have personally bought 10 autographed copies to be given to a number of young people and influencers as a gift, in the hope that they would be able to use that as a tool, an awareness raising tool. And it's really significant that through this, we can impact the battle across Nigeria, West Africa, and in fact, the whole continent of Africa. I want to congratulate my friend, Professor Amadi, for this fantastic work, and thank you for all that you've done for the young people, the neonates. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Diawo. Would like to call at this moment Mr. Victor Ajabo to make his comments.
Okay, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, just really quickly, thank you for the opportunity. Clearly, without repeating what has been said, this book is very inspiring, and I'd like to kind of go on the advocacy line. There are 4 key points I want to make. 1, can we commit and line up behind distributing at least 5 million copies of this book, not just in Nigeria, but across the African continent? Secondly, could we also determine that 50% of those 5 million, minimum 5 million, will end up in the hands of teenagers and young adults who, like you and I know, are the future parents of these neonates, so we can pass it from generation to generation. Third point, could we also target and encourage book clubs, which with the whole virtual living that we're seeing these days, begin to read this book in their smaller groups and bring the points home. And the last point for me is, like Akwasi has said, could we convert this into a movie? And I think it would be the easiest way to continue to drive the passion as we go along. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Victor Ajabolis. That was awesome, and we will continue to hear more people. And let's call on Professor Antia Obong. Antia Obong to make a comment, please.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Right.
Yes, we can.
It's a pleasure to be here. I remember from the very, very early days working in Calabar, Hippolyte really began his career here with our center. And the passion he had at that time, he's maintained it and even heightened it. It's no surprise that we are having what we are having and the testimonies we are having countrywide and probably in other areas of Africa show how much he has impacted. I'm happy to be here. I know that the lives of children have been saved, and I believe as we move on, we'll be able to save more lives. This is really a big achievement. I want to congratulate Hippolyte once more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that brief comment, Professor Obong. We appreciate that. We'd like to now call on Father Malachi Osunwa. Malachi Osunwa.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Hippolyte was my classmate from the 70s. We had our secondary school together. He was a very recollected fellow and very studious. And I think now we are seeing a very great product from him and from the school and from the many years he has put in defense of the poor, of the neonates. And I so much appreciate this work that he has done, doing for those born to be alive. And I do know that it will go a long way in helping, depending on how we can create the awareness, both in Nigeria, in Africa, and as we are across the world. And as I have talked to him already, we need to create a hashtag of Let Neonates Live, for instance, T-shirts, and maybe getting into movie production of this kind of work to reach out to our many young people, parents to be, and who are parents in Africa, who may not have the opportunity and the electricity to read the book, but they can also see the shirt and ask, what is it? And from there they will know. So kudos to Professor Hippolyte Amadi and to all of you who have taken great interest in saving the lives of those who are conceived and born into the world, so that as ministers, we can have souls to save. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Father Osunwa. We appreciate that. Last but not the least, we'd like to call on Dr. Kudirat Olateju to make a few comments. Please be brief. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
It's a pleasure being part of this program. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. My name is Dr. Kudirat Olateju. I work with the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital located in the federal capital of Nigeria. My hospital being a referral center, I must say that our newborn unit is the biggest in the federal capital. And as such, we receive most of these babies, tiny babies from the neighboring states of Kogi State, Nasarawa, Niger, and Kaduna. Taking care of these babies some years back was a Herculean task due to lack of functioning incubators, leading to death of many of these babies. And several attempts made then to fix some of these medical devices often caused more hazards than relief. So in 2008, when a colleague of mine introduced Professor H. Amadi to our hospital, his arrival and acceptance of the consultancy offer was a big relief to the unit. The unit, since his arrival, the unit has transformed from a status of lack of any functioning incubator to now being populated with 14 incubators and also several other medical devices like the power banks, the pulse oximeters, radiant warmer, or the resuscitator. And also the survival of the tiny babies have drastically improved. Our unit now remains the pride of our hospital, a recurring comment often made by our visitors. Thanks to Professor H. Amadi expertise intervention. His genuine passion for the neonates goes beyond fixing the equipment. He ensured that he has a way of pressurizing the management to make sure that they provide other complements that will make the unit function well. And he constantly trained the staff, just like others have mentioned earlier on. He trained them on pediatric incubation techniques so that they could apply this equipment properly. And also, we now have a biomedical technician that was mentored by Professor H. Amadi, who is now in charge of the equipment maintenance. For his ambitiousness and hard work, we have published several papers related to neonatology in highly rated international journals. The revelations in this book may seem fictitious, but are
Okay, we have lost Dr. Kudirat Olatunji